Okay, so I think that I've come up with an idea for myself, and that is what I'm calling Optimistic Primal Joy. Operation Optimistic Primal Joy. And basically, it's my attempt to reconcile whatever beliefs I have inside of me that have me thinking or believing that I don't deserve joy. Because I find that I have a really hard time laughing sometimes and being joy, like being appreciative of things when they're happening. In hindsight, they look beautiful, and I sort of wish I have the same feeling looking at pictures as I do in the moment when the chaos is so crazy. So I think when I think back to it, I think back to like me traveling and sort of always feeling guilty for traveling. Like I wasn't retired. I hadn't, worked a lot. I was like, working to be there. But I think I always felt guilty that people who had more money than me weren't doing the things they wanted to do and I was. I'm not exactly sure, but there was some place along the way that I felt undeserving of joy and happiness. And I think that like after mom died, like that just, I guess maybe I believed that then, like because of that I automatically assumed that I didn't deserve love, because why would a universe take my mother from me when I'm like just me and my mom? And anyways, so I've been like really trying to figure out this whole joy thing, and that like I look at this time in my life and I think, oh my gosh, like when I'm like next year I'm gonna really miss this life. But while I'm in it, I'm just like, this is insane. Like, oh my gosh, like lessons here. There is no way I could have learned any other way. So anyways, project Operation Optimistic Primal Joy. So I'm basically trying to I'm trying to figure out where the camera doesn't reflect in my face. So I can't find the tripod we just got. I'm holding it in front of my face. Anyways, so what I think I'm gonna do is like I'm gonna take pictures that I've taken and I'm gonna put quotes on them, whether they're from me or from people that I've Googled, quotes on joy. And whenever I get like a thought in my head of like what I should do to promote more joy in my life, then I'm going to make a quote out of it. And I think that I need to feel joyful. Okay, I think that this whole journey that I've been on has been one to prove that joy is possible without a lot of money. And so I think that I have all the pieces. It's just now accepting that I'm happy, if that makes any sense, because I've worked so damn hard to get here, like realizing all the ways I self-sabotage and how James said something this past week that made me really think. He said, wow, isn't that funny, the light just went on. He said, I was really mad one morning. He's like, you look for things to get angry about. And I was like, oh my God, do I? And I like left for like an hour. I was like, oh my God, I think he's right. And then I was like, oh my God, so if I do that, if I look for things to be angry about, that's anxiety. That's totally my anxiety going crazy. So if that's the case, like, how do I shift that? And so I'm looking at it and I've like really done so much work up until this point. So what is the thing? And I've always thought you couldn't fix something from the outside. You have to fix it from the inside. And so what does that look like when it comes to joy? And what that looks like is in the space of crazy, putting joy into it. so that you're not like I'm not beating myself up for not creating, for there not being any joy, or I'm not, but that I find little ways of bringing little magic sparks to the insanity, and recognizing them and acknowledging them in the space, so that it doesn't seem like, so that there's more spaces of joy than there are of crazy, my brain's gonna pop, because there's so much to think about all the time, and there's 3 tiny little beings that can get into so many things and it's crazy. So I'm trying to like find calm in my head and calm in my body. And so this joy, so I think that I'm gonna work on this joy project. So I don't know where it's gonna go, but I feel like reminding myself as much as possible and like paying attention to the details and the signs and the serendipity, all this stuff has me to this place where I think it's my duty to myself to let myself be happy right now, because like I got everything I ever wanted, and like you never know when it will be gone. And I'm like madly in love with my husband, and I have 3 beautifully perfect children, and I live in a bus, which is pretty much the coolest thing I tell people about myself these days, even though it's crazy and I really want doors and a shower and hot water on demand and all the things you don't even think about when you're living in an apartment or a house. But like, this is the coolest thing I've ever done, and I wish we were still traveling. I think that it would be way cooler if we were still traveling, but because we're doing the stationary thing where James is working and I'm taking care of the kids, it's really hard to live this way. But if we were traveling, this is super fun because it's like way better than pitching tents every day kind of thing. So I think that that's where my biggest struggle comes from, is like when you're dealing with the day-to-day life, like having to go to work every day and, you know, going to when you're doing the community life, camping is not easy. So, but I mean, things I've learned this year are insane, and I'm happy. Like, even though there are moments that make me crazy, like, I know this will be the time where I will think back and think this is the happiest time of my life, when everything is still possible. Anyways, so there's my rant. Pull back, aim, let go, just breathe, just believe, just be. Peace.